About trends and cycles, what's kind of happening, trends and cycles in the mind, in the world. Going to talk a little bit about self-sabotage because I said that yesterday that we would talk about self-sabotage. Going to talk a little bit about how do you get better answers by asking better questions and why that's going to be so critical right now in your future. And then we're going to talk a little bit about mind simulation and what's happening. So let's start with trends and cycles. So if you look at trends and cycles, what we're really looking at here is we're looking at human behavior and the cycle of human behavior on its cause and effect, right? Its situation and effect of the situation. That's how you have these random behaviors like I'm going to go buy as much toilet paper as I can because all of a sudden everybody's panicking because we're going to run out of toilet paper, right? And or it's the snowstorm's going to come and like you're not going to make it to the store, so like you need milk and eggs and bread, otherwise you'll die because the snowstorm could be so big and so large that your neighbor won't throw you a slice of bread. And so when you're looking at these trends and cycles, you go back in time, especially when you look at recession trends and cycles or pandemic trends and cycles. You could kind of look at how these trends and cycles will follow fear, and they'll also follow times of great where we're breaking through into a new world. I mean, we're breaking into a new world right now. I'm going to talk a little more about that with this whole AI technology. There's a theory that like the speed of things will, double whatever it was every 18 months. It's probably like doubling at the rate of speed of every 3 months now on where we have a new thing, right? We're going further into space. We understand different things about time. We understand different things about the brain. We understand different things about the dynamic of health of the world as a whole. And this is causing a lot of interesting trends and cycles that are coming. We know that one trend that's coming is this technology to the next level. Like technology, and I was sharing with someone the other day when we look back when I was a kid, which is over well, let's call it over 35 years ago, when I would consider myself still a kid, we were concerned about robots. And really, some people feared robots would put them out of work. Really, you always fear that something else is going to take control over you, right? Or a part of you, or a part of your life. That's what people's concern are about with this. So, what I want to do is, as you start looking at, I want you to create a little bit of awareness in your life, a little bit of awareness to be watching the trends and cycles. Because if you look at right now, I mean, real estate, there's a lot of things that are like the wild west is happening right now. Like we don't know which way it will go. It won't go left. It won't go right. The people that are afraid, they could possibly end up in, this could be a great purge for them. The purge always happens in the mind first before it happens in the results in their life. And this could be the great purge for people if they are not protecting their belief systems and their mind and their ability to execute. Change is one of those things that will be probably the great noose of so many people, unfortunately. And it will also be something that creates so much self-sabotage. Because what happens is self-sabotage is the ability to not want to change. I mean, let's just look at it. Something new's coming out. You're like, I'm not going to do it. You fight against it. Like, let's say you fight against when certain types of medicines come out. I'm not saying all medicines are good. I'm not saying all medicines are bad. But let's say there was a medicine that you needed, right? Let's say you needed something to break a fever or something, or heal a wound or a cut. Or let's say they came out with stitches and they used to only use mud to heal a wound. And let's say you fought against that. You're like, no, I'm not going to use the new stitches. Like, I'm not going to do this. And you just kept using mud. Well, I'm sure with some mud you had infection, right? So it's like self-sabotage of there is something I can use and I'm going to fight against this. So as you start looking at the trends and cycles of things that are happening, ask yourself, is there any self-sabotage? And feel free in the chat bar if you're good at self-sabotaging yourself for anything, like how that might be playing into your life. And I get a couple indicators I'm going to give you of some things that I really think are going to be important. Not in the future, like far future, in the very near future right now. So I'm going to give you some of those things. I think what you need to do for all of these trend cycles, self-sabotaging, is you need to master the art of asking a better question. And if not, asking a new question. Because if you're asking the same question, well, you're just trying to confirm like what your brain knows. And if you're not asking a question, you're so convinced that you have all the information to navigate the next world. I called this back in 2008. I called things back in Y2K. And I've always been a person that knows that you can't predict the future, but you could run a whole lot of simulations, right? You could run what I call mind simulations. And I'm actually in a group with some high level people, and I was just doing a message in there before I came on here, and I was telling people, I said, they're talking about AI, they're talking about technology and stuff, and I said, we should really do a think tank about this, because if you're not simulating what could be, then it is controlling what will be, right? So we're going to run a think tank around this, because how I've been able to navigate through real estate and growing companies, and 2008, which was considered, close to a Great Depression. And I was telling people the purge was coming way before that. Now, I'm not going to tell you the purge is coming. I'm going to tell you the great divergence is coming, the great divide. The divide between people who are willing to change and those that won't change. Those people in the world, and they come into my world quite a bit because, they raise their hand and they're like, hey, I want to talk. I'm interested in mind power training, or I'm interested in this. And one thing I always want to know is, how willing are you to challenge your own belief systems? Because if your belief systems are so embedded that change cannot happen, well, there's a good chance that you'll end up on that divide of the ultimate purge for people who will not change, right? Those people that understand, and actually, I learned this as one of my top and main interview questions when I had a lot of employees, which a lot was 200 for me. So we were hiring people, every single week, implementing new team members. Is one of the things I asked them is from 1 to 10, 10 being I love change, I hope things change every minute, and 1 being I hate change, I don't want anything to ever change, I want to walk through the same door in this company, I want to sit in the same seat, I want to eat lunch at the same time. And if they're like, I'm a 6, I'm like, you're not going to make it here, you will not survive, this is not a fit. I'll tell you what, go to that company there, they haven't changed in 70 years. So go work at that service company. They're still licking stamps. They're still filing sheets of paper. Like here, I want you to say, how are we doing it tomorrow? Then we're doing it today. Hey, what's up, Dwayne? What's up, Justin? And so this is going to be the great divide. Those that are not willing to change and challenge their beliefs and question, is that true? And is that truth still going to be rewarding for me and my family? Then there's going to be the adopters, right? The adopters and the adapters. These are going to be the people that are going to change like immediately. That's what I'm doing. I'm changing every single day right now. That's not a new thing, but there's momentums of change, right? There's cycles of it. There's normally like a decade cycle where this big change comes, and then look at it, the cycle from look at the period of time, which is probably more than a decade, from like cordless phone, a cord phone, regular long cord, probably like lime green or something, to beeper, right? Incremental change. To cell phone that looked like like it could take a grenade on, right? Like a big shoebox. little bit of change. Then all of a sudden you hit that world of cell phones, and then major change happens. Major change happens. And then this change is a new catalyst. I mean, it gets rid of pay phones. It gets rid of home phones. Like, how many people actually have a corded phone today, or even a cordless phone, versus why do you need a phone? So we're at that next level right now for everybody. And I want you to understand that the biggest thing that you have to own, and the only way you'll make it past this is running these mind simulations, is you have to enhance your mind. I don't know how much more I could tell people about it. I mean, it'll get to a point in a couple years, probably 24 to 36 months, where, you know, people will be so distorted and distracted, and they're going to want, like, how do I change now? And it's going to be a point of almost a point of no return. I mean, it's going to be tough to flip it. We should tag this video here because it's going to be tough to flip your brain, because what happens is when the great divide happens, you end up in a community of people that won't change. It reinforces everybody's behavior. Now you're trying to break out of a jail cell. Just imagine the outer circle of people all going, don't change, stay the way you are, don't think different, right? This is what our grandfather believed. This is what my father believed. This is what my great-great-grandfather believed. Well, I gotta tell you, son, your great-great-grandfather and your grandfather, and maybe in some of your fathers, still didn't figure out a damn iPhone. They sure to hell ain't figuring out AI. They're not figuring out this level of technology. So do you think that following that is still going to follow through? No, it's not going to follow through. It's not going to follow through. It's going to fall apart. And this is why this whole thing that I've been talking about for years now about the mind and really understanding. If you don't understand your mind, you can't even align the body. You can't even understand energy at a level. You can't even comprehend the understanding of, like, how universal law of energy, thinking, creation, building, growing, and this whole existence here. It's a stepping stone to get there. That's why a lot of people enter my world. That's why I'm saying, like, if you just look today at the indicators. Now remember, indicators for a lot of people scare the shit out of them. They're like, I am scared. Okay, but if you look at what I posted here, let me bring up some of the stats here. Like, Twitter, 4,400 out of 5,500 contractors, job cuts. Okay, let's look at the next one. Amazon cutting over 18,000 jobs as major layoffs continue into 2023. Let's look at the next one here. Goldman Sachs is poised to lay several thousand employees as the bank preps for an uncertain economic environment in 2023. You know who's not worried about economic environments? People who own their mind. They're not worried about it. They're not, because they can navigate change like that. And that's why I'm telling people today, like, one, you better own your mind, and two, you better be around people that own their mind. You better get around and be around and invest and be around the smartest effing people you know, because there's no time for a flare to go up to make mind maneuvers. There's not going to be a warning sign that today. The warning sign has already been there. You got to be in a tribe with powerful people who know how to think together, grow together, execute together, change together, challenge things together, or you're going to be in that outer ring of people that force you in the middle, and they are not willing to change. They're only willing to suffer. And this is happening right now. And not enough people are talking about it because they don't, either they didn't go through it or they don't understand it on a thinking level, psychological level. They don't know how to think about this through an energy level. They're just a slave to take a vitamin, take a pill, drink alcohol, take a drug, like all these other things. But this shit will not be forgiven for this navigation. So you got to be around smart people. You got to ask bigger, better questions. And you should ask it of yourself. Like, hey, what makes you fall apart? If things make you fall apart, well then you have a broken process inside your mind, right? Like when I fall apart on things, it happens to me too. I go and start to examine the process. Why did I start to fall apart? What was the triggers? What was the thinking? What was the patterns? What was the programs? What started to launch to make me start to deep dive? Now, on the flip side of this, if you go back to the beginning of time, survival was within tribes, right? Tribes together, right? Tribes that were together. That's why I called, our one group's called Freedom Tribe for a reason. Because tribes that are together, that fight together, have freedom together. Just like the beginning of time. There's not strength in numbers. There's strength in aligned numbers. Okay? Let me say that again. There's not strength in numbers. There's strength in aligned numbers. And you have to be aligned, and you have to be willing to consume information in a different way. On one of our trainings, which is probably too high level to share on Facebook here, but in our mastery level program, we talked about how to actually download information right into your subconscious. Not like consuming, reading and stuff. Like, how do you allow information to go right into your subconscious so you can bring it up at will to leverage on that information? You just go to the microcomputer and just be like, boom, boom, boom. That's why as you enhance your thinking, your mind and your energy align with your body and your spirit, and all these pieces come together, that's how you're able to make faster change, faster decisions. And it is contagious to a point. Why? Because when you're around other people, they are watching the speed of that, and you're sharing with them how to think. So now the whole level rises. So let's talk about something else that's going to happen. The great separation. This is, hey, Jim, what's happening? The great separation, this thing really doesn't tell me anymore. I don't know how many people. Just say what's up in here if you're still with me. Oh, it does say some people here. I hope you'll share this because everybody needs to hear this. The great separation is this. Those that are not growing together are going to grow apart. It's not new, but it's going to be expanded right now in 2023. The gap will grow so fast and so big and so quickly, because what's going to happen is your process is thinking. You will no longer see them as somebody's not thinking. You're going to see them as an anchor. You're going to see them as an anchor. And I don't know the name of the series. My wife and I are watching this old Western type series. I don't know, 1832 or something like that. Or maybe there's another one, 1900 or something. And what happens is the woman's drowning and the other woman goes to help. And what happens? The drowning person starts drowning the other person. Type in relate if you could relate to this, where someone does not want to grow with you. They feel that they don't need change. They stay in the world that they are. They don't feel like they want to challenge their beliefs. And they hold on to you to the point you feel like you're drowning too. And this is the great separation that's coming. That's why I'm really excited what we do today. And I can't plead with people enough. We create an environment to stop the great separation where a husband and wife and partners can come and learn together. Because if they don't, one will feel like it's drowning the other. I know you guys can relate to this because it happens every single day. Now, ask yourself, if you are not saying to yourself, how will I function, capitalize, leverage as opportunities in the future in my life, for my health, for my wealth, for my relationships, for my career, for my business. If you're not running these mind simulations of if this, then what? If this, if we do have what they say in the next 5 to 7 years, that there will be 90% of the lower workforce will be unemployed. 90%. Okay, let's just say you tripled unemployment today, tripled it, that would be catastrophic. Tell me tell me in the chat bar, hey Keith, tell me in the chat bar, like, what would be catastrophic, Dwayne, if we tripled unemployment today? Well, I'll tell you what would be catastrophic. Homeless will rise. Crime will rise. Death will rise. Starvation will rise. So if that is the case, well, guess what? We have to start asking ourselves, we can't expect everybody is going to want to challenge their beliefs and change. So we need these people that are willing. It's like, I call them, like, it's like the light workers, right? It's the warriors of light. It's the people for good. Like, you have to expand so much so it can pull more over. It's like you're the creator of the energetic arc. And the bigger the arc, the more people we can save, because they'll step in the world and go, I want to expand and grow. I mean, it blows my mind. Well, I guess it's like a library. Like, how much information's in a library, but someone still complains they don't know what to do, but they don't go to the library. Back then, that's all you had. Type in library if you're if you're one of those people, like, that's where you had to go. You didn't have no Wikipedia, an iPhone, type it in and boom, it's right there. You went to the library, you were sniffing dusty books, hoping someone didn't have bubblegum in it, trying to walk around while someone else told you to be quiet, to find a piece of book, and then you had to flip through the damn thing to get information. I mean, but the information was there. Today, my mind's always blown. I do free trainings every single month for probably almost every month, if not twice a month, for a decade, and people don't show up. They won't show up and watch this. People listen. How many people we have on tonight? Okay, we have 7 viewers here. Okay, so the other 9 billion people, you know what they're doing? They're watching the show. They're doing something that does not change them, does not impact them, does not make them think, because it's better to have blinders on and not, like, I don't want to know, I don't want to see. Don't tell me there's a creepy person on the other side of the door. No, you better go on the other side of the door and grab that creepy person. Right? This is where we're going, everybody. So this is meant for those that are ready to change and become more powerful. If you're one of those powerful people, type in powerful in the chat bar for me, right? Because if you're like that, you know, and I know a lot of people on this stream have been in my world a while, just ask yourself, if you never changed your thinking, go back in time and ask, what would life have been like? Where would you be today if you didn't change your thinking? Would you be sick? Would you be overweight? Would you be broke? Would your company be out of business? Would your relationship be dead? Would you be lonely? Would you be depressed? Like, just think of what could be happening out there. Hey, Paul, what's happening? Cool, man. Use that mousetrap, because we're living the mousetrap now. The mousetrap we're entering into the world. And I hope any of you guys that are on here, look, I know I mentioned a lot because I'm such a believer in it. Mind Power starts January 10th. It's next week. There's like 5 spots left. It's virtual, 2 nights a week for 3 weeks. If you do not think your mind is an optimized machine that is changing, creating, growing, and literally transforming energy with your mind into the results you want for you, your family, and your legacy, then I strongly urge you to consider spending 2 nights a week for 3 weeks with me. It's 7 to 9 p.m. Well, sometimes we go over because I don't stop when, at 9, I stop when we're done. Let that training enhance you. Bring that training, do the training, bring your employees to the training, bring your family to training, reach out to me. I'll work a package, something for you guys. Like, get everybody thinking different. And that training will take you right into, I hope you'll come and spend 2 days with me in March. Because it will be a brain shifting 2 days in March. Like, no joke. Those that come in the room, this is personal growth for 2 days. It is changing your identity, your DNA, how you think, who you are, how you walk. This is not a motivational bullshit thing. You clap for 2 days, go home, and then no one's clapping. This is shift, change, no turning back. And anybody who's been in my training, you know that. Because I don't have to do, after selling 2 companies in the last 5 years, I'm not doing this because I have to. I'm not on here at 9:37 because I have to. I'm here because if just one of you hear the message, and one of you 3 years from now, 5 years from now, a decade now, go, that video changed the way I thought, and I didn't get purged. My business didn't collapse. I didn't lose all my employees. I didn't get sick. I didn't get divorced. Then guess what? This time together was perfectly spent. It was perfectly spent. Okay, so quick little recap. Trends and cycles. You got to start watching it, everybody. When you think about trends, it's not just about the numerical indicators. It's about the emotional trends. It's about the tribal trends. I'm watching the community trends of people on the social media platforms. I'm watching the behaviors and habits of people when I'm in the store, when I'm purchasing online. The next one, self-sabotage. Where are you self-sabotaging yourself, and what do you got to do inside your mind to stop it? The next one, a tribe. You better find yourself a tribe. Now look, if you're in a tribe and it's only about business, your energy is going to get purged. Your mind's going to get purged. This is more than business. I know I focused on just learning business stuff at the sacrifice and destruction. Business stuff will make you money. It will also kill you if you're not aligned with your mind and how to grow yourself. I'm a big believer in it. I went back last couple of years now, explored all my success and said, where did it go great? Where did I derail? What was the common denominator? And boom, it comes back. Asking great questions. How do you get more? How do you get different? Ask more and different questions of people who really know what the hell they did. Like they navigated through times. They navigated through situations. And then mind simulators, you got to run it. You got to run the simulation. It's just like, people that carry guns and, they never draw it. They never walk through the house with it. They never run scenarios. So when chaos hits, panic sets in and suffering comes. But if we could run the mind simulations and say, if this, then what? If this, then what? Run it till you're burned out. Run it till you can't, and then say to somebody, is there a simulation that I missed? Okay, I hope this was worthy of you. Type in your big takeaway. Paul, do me a favor, just message me, private message me, and I'll give you a link for it. Because I know we have one area where you could actually get mind power training at an extreme discount. It's kind of our back end opportunity for people. So just send me a private message for anybody watching this. If you're interested in mind power, want to take one of the 5 spots, hang out with me for 2 nights a week for 3 weeks and pretty much superhuman your mind. So you got nothing to worry about in 2023, just how you're going to create so many opportunities. All right, I got to run, everybody. Appreciate, love you guys. I'm rooting for all of you. Boom.